The importance of understanding your inventory and COGS to properly run your business. We come from an accounting standpoint, so looking at, numbers, margins on the P&L, values on the balance sheet, et cetera. The different financials that we look at each monthly show various metrics of profitability, sustainability of the business, assets versus liabilities, et cetera. But when you're an inventory-based business, similar as a service-based business, right? There's one specific resource that is the most important aspect to understand. It's inventory, right? On the service side, it is labor and labor cost. On the inventory side of things, basically, knowing your numbers related to inventory. What does that mean? Your cost of goods sold, right? The cost to incur to get a product ready to sell in a warehouse to sell to your customers. Understanding that number helps you understand your margins, what you can sell the product at, and then helps you basically understand your profitability, right? In terms of that realm. If you really know those numbers from a cost of goods sold standpoint, you're really able to do a lot of different things. Discounting when you have too much inventory when the market's down. Understand how to buy in bulk more versus less, depending upon how much cash you have in hand. If you get various discounts, right? There's ways that you can create a lever and have more leverage in your business if you really understand that aspect there. On the balance sheet, why is it important to understand how much inventory you have in hand, right? It's a value as of a point in time. Well, you need to know how much inventory you have in hand because that's your biggest spend on cash, right? That's your biggest resource, your biggest outflow of money. So you need to properly account for that. Just think of buying a brand new car personally. You want to know where that's at. And is it in your garage? Is it in your house, right? Like the similar things of understanding how much you have on hand, which warehouse or 3PL are they at, et cetera, right? So understanding your COGS that impact your margins of your business, as well as understanding the amount of inventory you have in hand in order to, when do I need to reorder a product? How much do I need to reorder? All those things. Those things mirror together, right, in terms of just properly running your business from an inventory aspect. Clearly, there's 15 other things we can talk about of inventory and cost of goods sold in the future, which we'll chat on. But really, the initial steps of it are these two aspects. How much inventory do I have in hand of all of the products that I own and where are they at? This should be done monthly or even more so. How much does my product cost in a warehouse ready to sell to the end consumer? Right? So understanding the cost and unit economics of those products that you're selling, understanding how much you have on hand. That's the basic aspects of inventory and how it impacts accounting and financial reporting in your business moving forward. Um, the simplest way to manage that is via spreadsheets or Google Sheets, right? And understanding a good process with that. At Accountfully, we have a template called the inventory workbook where we walk through your procurement, your supply chain, and all your inventory that you're selling and what you're buying and identifying, calculating a landed cost for each of those products, creating a process to count that inventory monthly and reconcile to what we have in the balance sheet, right? So basically, step one of it is understanding how much inventory you have in hand, where it's at, and getting a process in place to count that inventory periodically. And number two, how much does it cost for me to have my product ready to sell in a warehouse to sell to my consumers, right? To the customers. So if you have those two basics, those are the first two things you need to understand of from an inventory aspect if you're running your business. There's a lot of other things that you have to do down the road that you can add upon that I'll discuss and chat about in the future. But those two things are the start. You can manually handle those in a manual manner versus a systematic or system manner, or like inventory management system. And you should definitely focus on those if you're an inventory-based business from the start. Again, your biggest resource constraint is inventory from a cash flow standpoint, from how you run your business and where you're at. So understanding those two things are the two basic tenets of inventory accounting for your business.